Hi everyone, a very good evening and once again a very warm welcome to yet another Edelweiss Konnect Classroom session. We've been doing this on a monthly basis now for about a year and a half and we thank you all for taking time out and joining with us regularly, and it gives us an incentive and motivation to continue with this initiative. And to take this forward, the topic that we've actually chosen today is a very, very often asked question, to people, especially in the financial services, is it important to conduct a financial checkup? And if yes, then how do I conduct? So we thought, since it is something which people keep on asking us, why don't we build a program around it, for the benefit of the larger audience? Because this is a question which a lot of people have in their mind. Only a very few people come and ask. But I'm sure we are all investors, and we want to know whether our investors are performing as per our expectations, and if there is any need to continually or regularly review it and make any changes. And that's what we are going to try and answer in this session today. As usual, if you have any queries or questions, please put it in the chat. I will respond to all your queries and questions towards the end of our session. So on that note, let's begin. And just like it is said that if you are today above the age of 35 or 40, it becomes very important that you regularly go and do a health checkup. It is also very, very important that you continually perform a financial checkup of your portfolio, right? We keep on investing, like I said, just a couple of minutes back, but it becomes very, very important to ascertain whether the investments that I have made are performing as per my expectations. And if they are not, uh, you know, does it then require me to change something? Or should I continue with this because it is just a temporary phenomenon? And if it is, then also it becomes good to review and regularly check it up. Primarily because then it gives you the confidence and conviction that you are on the right track to go and achieve whatever tangible you wanted to by these investments that you have made. So in all ways, whether you need to take a corrective action to ensure that the investments are meeting your purpose of investment. In financial language, we use this word very often called financial goals. And if I continue to check this up, it will ensure that it's not adding to my stress. It will ensure that I am staying the course. I'm taking corrective action more proactively rather than reactively at a later stage where is it too late? Then becomes the question. And so a financial checkup on a regular basis, I would say, for your investments is as important today as a health checkup would be for your personal health. Now, what does this exactly mean? How do I go about it? What are those elements or things that I should check upon? Is now what I'm going to cover in the next subsequent slides. First thing and the most important thing that you should check upon is are there any changes in your life? You know, have you just got married? Have you had a child? Have you got divorced? Have you received an inheritance? Have you bought a nice house, bigger house? Are you close to retirement or you've retired? Now, all of these are monetarily very, very important changes. And they may force me to make a change, right? I mean, for example, if I get married, or if I have a child, or I'm close to retirement, it will change some thought process in my mind. And with this thought process, what will also need to change is my investments need to reflect that thought process. My ability to take risks, with my investments may change a bit. And my investments need to reflect that part. And hence, if there are any life changes, you need to go back to the drawing board and review your financial situation, your investments. If your life changes are now so drastic or so different, your life stage now is so different that you may have to alter your financial investments. So first thing first is review your life changes. Has there been any change in my life stage or my life situation? Because if it has, immediately it will have an impact on your investment status, or how you are looking at investments, or how you are looking at the risks in investments. And basis that, it becomes very very important that I make suitable changes, primarily because then this will ensure that the risk that my investments are taking are now as per my capacity and ability. And it will also ensure that I am not making, or I'm not adding to my levels of stress. So review your life change. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is, important part is that you may also want to review your goals. See, it could be that, today, I'm let's say a single person, not married, not so my goals would be that I want to buy a super bike. I'm a bachelor, so I'm thinking that I want a nice looking bike, which I can ride, and go for longer rides on that. That would be my goal. But when I get married, I may change from my super bike to a car. When I'm married with children, I may think that I need a house or I need a bigger car. So priorities in life change, and hence it becomes very very important that I look at my priorities and then review and reset my goals. it my goals need to reflect my priorities. My investments need to be done to satiate my priority goals first, because they are more important to me. So you should have something known as an emergency fund. This could be, if you're looking to buy a car, or a home, you should have money for your down payment. You could, retirement is something which we'll talk of later also, that why it's important to look at retirement. But review your goals regularly. Your priorities and goals change. We did a session on goals, and how you should look at goals and plan your goals. If that session is also already there on our YouTube link, you may want to recheck it, or go through it again if you haven't. Just to know more about this goal setting exercise. But reviewing your goals and reprioritizing your goals is a continuous process, because it could be that for me today a house is important, but let's say I receive a house after my parents are no longer there, and so now my house, I don't need a house, I already have a house, right? So now I may want something else. Similarly, like I said, if today I'm a bachelor, I may look at wanting a super bike. I get married, I may want a car. I'm married with children, I may now want a bigger house, or I may want a bigger car. So my priorities will change. And basis that, it becomes important that I revisit my goals. One more important thing that we should all do is, once we achieve a goal, we should cross it off the list. But then, to cross it off your list, it's important that you have your goal list. Because a lot of times, the big problem with us is we make investments, but we don't know where are we going to use it. And so what that does, very honestly, is, as and when I require money, I remove from my investments. That the challenge in that is, the stress levels where I am confident that, I have made investments that will help me for my future requirements, never goes. But if I have a goal list, and from those goal lists, I have made my priorities. If something is done, I cross it off, and I keep on reviewing it regularly, to reset my goals if required. Always helps me to know when and how much do I need. It puts me in a much better position than not knowing. So set or reset your goals is something which we must all do. It really helps. Similarly, one more thing which we should all do is you must have a budget. You know, it is a blueprint of how you handle your income and expenses. You know, it's, I think, very, very, very important, And the problem is most of us don't know how much are we spending and we don't have a budget. Funny part is, we all listen to the finance minister very, very intently, in the month of February, when she comes, right now she comes, and presents to us the nation's budget. We have an opinion, we comment about it, we may like something, we may not like something. We will also tell that this is something which is not right in the budget and should be corrected. Whatever. I mean, we have an opinion, right? But we don't have our own budget. There is some stigma attached to this word called budget, especially when it comes to personal finance. We think that this is a very, very middle class term. It is not. It is something which is very important. You should know where your money is going, how much are you spending, where are you spending. It gives you a handle on your expenses. I'm not saying cutting down is important. Okay, that's your choice, it's your money. How you're spending it is absolutely yours. But important part is, but if I don't know how much am I spending, I will not know how much am I saving. And if I don't know how much am I saving, I will not know how much I have at my disposal for investments, for my future requirements. So it's all linked. And one important key in this link, which we usually don't use or forget, is how much am I spending. To know this, you need to first tabulate, find out, and accordingly, know how, what is the spends that you're doing. That's your budget. You need to keep that aside. Automatically, what I've also realized is once you start tabulating, the elements where you're spending, our human mind is a very funny device. It starts evaluating whether this is apt, a little more or less. Less hoga to, we usually don't complain. I'm spending less on something, why should I complain? But automatically apt and more is something where, I start thinking. So for example, if you start tabulating, you may realize that, oh, I am eating out 6 times a week, where I'm spending 10,000 rupees every month. Automatically, you may start thinking, yeah, do I really need to eat 6 times outside? Or 6 times a month, let me not, or 6 times a week, I perhaps would be a little extra. 6 times a month. You may start thinking, can I do this once a week? And automatically, you may see that you're saving some 2,000-3,000 rupees, which can easily be put in an SIP. So that's how human mind works. But first, let's find out where are we spending our money. Unless I know, there is no next step. It's a very, very important element, linking to my savings and investments. A lot of us keep on complaining that I don't have enough money or I'm not saving enough. But at the same time, most of us don't even know where are we spending. So first thing is sketch out a budget, find out where you're spending, budget stuff. It will help you get a better handle on your expenses. And this in turn will give you a better handle on your savings as well as your investments. So sketch out a budget, know your goals, set and reset your goals, sketch out a budget. Similarly, one more thing which we should do is we should keep on regularly assessing our debt. Review your progress. What is the time period left? For this loan, what is the interest rate that I'm paying? Has the interest rate gone up? Has the interest rate gone down? Do I have something where I can pay off some smaller loans or, pay off some part of this loan? It may not even be a bad idea to consider refinancing loans. Sometimes different banks offer different rates. So if there is a cheaper rate somewhere, it may not be a bad idea to switch. Right. So credit card, debt is something which I would not really recommend. But if you are into that, look at credit cards which are charging you lesser, because if they are charging you lesser, then it may not be a bad idea to switch there also. So assess your debt. Debt is one portion where there is some debt which we take, for example, a home loan, where we know that today I may not have the entire value for my house. So I take that loan. I understand that. But, there are some loans, and, you keep on paying the EMIs. And, if there is a situation where you have some excess funds, it may not be a bad idea to repay some part of it, so that the period can come down. So you're becoming debt free faster. But assessing your debt and having a plan for how you're going to manage your debt is a very, very important element, which you should do regularly. So this is one other element which we should focus on, is assessing our debt. Similarly, one more thing is, we must check our credit score regularly. A credit score, I mean, if I were to put it simply, is a prediction of how likely you have to pay back the loan if you take any from the bank, right? And before you take a loan, companies will evaluate, your lender will check your credit score. If it is below the acceptable level, they will not give you loans. So you must ensure that your credit score is higher. And late payments, not paying on time, for your credit card bills or any bills, even your electricity bills, telephone bills, will impact your credit score. So ensure that you know what your credit score is. If there is something in that report which you think is debatable, or something which needs to be corrected, please ensure that you do that, because once you do that, immediately you will see your credit score move up. So but that will only happen when you know what your credit score is. A lot of us don't know. It's a very, very important element today. All banks, all NBFCs, when you go for a loan, check first your credit score. Basis that, decide whether they want to give you a loan. Basis that, decide how much of a loan can they give you, and what is the interest rate that they should charge you. So knowing your credit score is a very, very important element, and we must know that, so that if there is any discrepancy around it, you can say, no, and I checked, this was my credit score. Why are you saying it is less? One important element which we all as investors should focus on is retirement. It's a very, very important investment for all of us. Why is it important? Quite simply because, even if I work till 60, and if I'm a professional, I will retire at 60, right? So I will, the average lifespan today has moved up, from the earlier age of 65, 70 to about 78 to 82. So on an average, you live about 20 years. Now, 20 is a long period. I need a lot of money to survive 20 years without an active income. So I need to ensure that I've accumulated enough. If I'm a business person, then a lot of business persons take this even more lightly than professionals, because they start thinking that I am not going to retire, my business is going to always be there. But at some point in time or the other, you may want to take a back seat. Point number one. Point number two, it is still not a bad idea to have an alternate income that gets created. So having your retirement corpus sufficiently planned is a very, very important element, and that should be something which we should all do. If we haven't done it, it should be something that you start with immediately. We cannot delay this, because if I don't have the money, what will I do? There are, I may be dependent on my children. I may personally not be very comfortable with that idea, because what happens is, if I started working between the age of 23 to 25, for about 35, 37 years of my life, I have earned and made financial decisions. Everything, right? When should we buy? What should we buy? How much should we spend on a holiday? How much should you spend on how much should you spend on the next car? Every decision goes through me because it's my money that's going. So automatically, when this tide shifts and somebody else is deciding, I don't get a great feeling. So number one, financial independence is very important for all of us. So that goes away. So number two, I may look at doing some consultancy thing that I am doing something because I'm getting bored. But physically, am I still ready to do that? uh, you know we don't know. So it's always better to have a plan where you have sufficient and you can still do some consultancy. Nobody's saying don't do that, but if I have the money, I'm actually doing this because I'm getting bored. I don't need the money, so nothing is forcing me to get out of the house. That could be the second thing. Third thing is I could look at having somebody stay with me in my house from where I will get some rental income, PG accommodation or something. If my children are not staying with me and have a spare room, that could be done. Then also there's a concept known as reverse mortgage, where I go to the bank and tell them that I have a house. Against this house, give me some money, and they could take care of my basic expenses. But all of these are forceful plans and not plans which I would very honestly be comfortable with. And if I don't want to get into these plans, the important part is I look at my retirement and plan my retirement, and if I haven't done it, I must start. We also have a program on retirement, which is there on our YouTube link, and maybe you can look at that, to know more about what should you be doing to ensure you have a comfortable and stress-free retirement. Sorry, a stress-free retirement, but revisit your retirement savings. Basis once you do your retirement, then you look at your other goals. Why do I say later? Because all your other goals are something which will happen while you are earning. Your children's education, you will have to fund while you are earning. Your house, you will fund while you are earning. Your holiday, you will fund while you are earning. So there are ways in which you can still manage these. Retirement, you will not be able to manage because you are not earning. You will not get a loan. For all of these other things, you could still get a loan, right? If I'm earning, let's say I don't have an emergency fund, and I meet with an accident or something, I'm in the hospital, I don't have the money, I can take a personal loan, pay off through my earnings, and I'll get it. But if tomorrow when I've retired, I don't have sufficient funds, I will not get a loan. So your number one goal should be retirement, very honestly. And post that, you should consider all other goals, because for all other goals, whether I like it or I don't like it, I will still manage to ensure that I have the money. For my retirement, if I don't have sufficient, I will not get sources from where money will flow very easily. So first look at retirement, and post that consider all your other goals. One more thing which we should all do is we should make sure that we are adequately insured. People take insurance, whether it's life or health, a little lightly, but it's important that you look at it. You should have an adequate insurance. See, insurance is nothing but an income replacement method. If I am an earning member, apart from apart from the emotional support that I give to my family members, I also give them financial support. If I'm not there, this financial support will hit them more than the emotional support in all probabilities, because there was money which I was bringing to the table. And now that money is not there, so their life will also become difficult. So you should ensure that if something happens, and we know life is funny, anything can happen to any one of us at any point in time. We have responsibilities towards our family members, and they do not suffer financially, at least, because of me not being there. Look at health insurance. I think another very ignored element of investing is health insurance. A lot of us are not adequately insured when it comes to health insurance. Health expenses or hospital expenses are becoming expensive. You don't want to add to your stress levels because you don't have adequate. So reevaluate your health insurance. If you need, you should take a top-up policy or whatever else you can do to ensure you have adequate health insurance for you and your family members. It's a very important thing, because you never know when a disease hits you, when an ailment hits you, and you may need to get treated. And we don't want to compromise on our health. None of us likes to compromise on our health, so ensure that you have adequate health insurance too. Life, health, both are important. One more thing which you should all do is, you should look at creating an estate plan. See, you worked hard, you earned money, you saved some, you created some assets. Now, they could be modest assets or they could be, extravagant assets. Now, that's individually depending on how well you're able to, move that. That's okay. But the point is, if you have an estate plan, you decide on what happens to your assets or what happens to your estate after you're not. It becomes very, very simple for your family members. You can divide it equally if you want, but have an estate plan. People think that estate plan is only something which the rich people should. No, estate plan is something which we all should have, because it's your money. You have worked hard. You created these assets. You are the best deciding person, right? So create your estate plan. Whatever assets you have created, distribute it as per how you want. I think it's only fair. This also ensures that there are not many disputes. All families at some point in time or the other have some bad blood, because of not having an estate plan. So if you don't want your family to, soil relationships, it's best that you create your estate plan as per your liking. So, evaluate, first have an estate plan. If need be, regularly evaluate it, and make changes if required. One question which people keep on asking me is, can I do a financial checkup myself? My answer is yes, you can. If you have a simple investment pattern, not very complicated, you can. But apart from simple investment patterns, it needs two more elements. One is you need to be knowledgeable. Second is you need to have time. So I am knowledgeable, but I don't have time. My investments are simple, but I'm not very knowledgeable. But I have the time, but I'm not knowledgeable. So all these three elements, if they work for you, then yes. Otherwise, I think it's best that you engage with a professional, get professional help them, review your financial health, and, basis their suggestions and your concurrence, as and when whatever changes are required, you make them. So last thing which I want to share is, a financial checkup is a systematic look at the complete state of your finances. It helps you build comfort that you have checked everything: investments, insurance, estate plan, everything. It helps you build that comfort. Do it either annually or any major life event. So if there is no major life events don't happen every year. At least once a year, you should review, and look at it from all aspects so that you build your confidence, you build your conviction, you drop your levels of stress, and you feel more in control. This is what I had for all of us. As usual, I'll keep it open for queries and questions. If any of you have any queries and questions, I'll love to answer them now. Okay, one question that has come up is, should I review my financial checkup in any other situation? I mean, I spoke about two situations, right? So the person is asking, is there any other third situation where a financial checkup should be done? So the two situations which I spoke about were annually or when there is any major life event change, right? I think one more element which you can add, or maybe two more elements that you can add, is when there is some excess volatility in the markets, or you're thinking that the markets are now behaving a little differently than what your expectations were, then you should relook. Markets are being a little extra bearish. You should relook and you should talk to people to understand whether any changes are something which you should look at. One more element which you should continually check is, in the recent past, we've seen a lot of interest in thematic investments or sectoral investments. Now these are cyclical, right? And because these are cyclical, it only helps, to know whether you're on the right side of the cycle. Because if you're not, then it may be time to change. So if you're investing in thematics, sectorals, or the newer investment themes, it may not be a bad idea to review whether you're on the right side of the cycle, or if the cycle is slowing down or some strategy change is required. So that's also something which you should check. So one more question is, I have a post-retirement medical reimbursement scheme by my employer covering my families. So you may have something. You need to evaluate whether this is sufficient. If it is sufficient or not is a question which only you will be the best judge. Even if it is post-retirement, is it sufficient for you and your family, or you need to do something beyond what your employer is doing is a call. So I don't know the amount, so and very honestly, amount is very personal. So in that sense, you will need to take a call, but evaluate that over and beyond. If you need to take, then you should take. If you think this is sufficient, then I'll leave the call on you. So there's a question. I have invested in mutual fund SIPs. 57-year-old retired early due to some health issues. So again, other means of investment. If equity markets are something which are now not in your comfort zone, then there are various other investments. There are hybrid schemes that you should look at, which are a mixture of equity and debt. You may add some fixed income portfolio also, which are doing better in terms of returns in comparison to traditional fixed income instruments like fixed deposits. You could make a portfolio around that. Returns may be obviously different from what you're getting on the equity side, but they will not add to your levels of stress. So you may want to add these elements in your investment schemes. Any specific investment options for planning retirement corpus? Again, it's very personal, and how much you need, how much you have to invest. So a lot of other elements before I can actually tell you on how much you can invest, or where should you invest. So it's something which I think best if you sit with a professional and do that. That will help. So second year student, do I just save money or keep investing? Please invest. Saving alone, the problem with saving today is it doesn't add to your wealth, right? It will not give you anything extra. If you want to create anything extra from your savings, the only way that you can do that is investing. So savings is not equal to investments. Please invest. Okay, I guess this is what we had time for all your queries and questions. I hope I've been able to respond to all of your queries and questions. And we will connect again in the coming month with another program. Till then, goodbye and take good care of yourself. See you. Bye-bye.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.